Bing bong.
Action.
Yeah.
Welcome.
What's up,
to
world?
Go With Gods.
Welcome to the only podcast from Gods of the Basement.
That's a fact. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Big Zoo.
What's going on? It's Prolific One.
And we're going to formally welcome you into this podcast adventure.
Is this,
It is.
Oh, hello. I'm writing an important paper, and I heard you were a member of this club called
Go With Gods! Go With Gods! Go With Gods! Together, Pro and I make up a group called Gods of the Basement. We're going to unpack that a little bit. But first, let me give you a little background on my brother, Prolific One. Prolific One is an incredible artist, MC, father, project manager, pillar in the community, organizer, curator, and he is the mindset behind much of the creative endeavors that you see us engage in. So it's really a blessing to have been friends with this brother for over 20 years now, raising families together, traveling together, and living this life of being men of color and products of the hip-hop culture. So, welcome.
You, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Word up.
And don't let that be overshadowed by the fact that we're here with a leader, a pillar in the hip-hop community in New York City and the world, really. A dynamic freestyle artist, an educator, a father, a leader, a consultant who's out on the road making schools and other communities better. He's working in his local community with your local children, making them better. And every day he's helping me to be better by being a good friend and a colleague, but also a creative collaborator with me. Incredible wordsmith and my brother and somebody I'm proud to call my friend. Give it up for Big Zoo, y'all.
Hey, I can hear y'all clapping out there right now. I can hear it if I listen closely.
Yeah.
Yo, this podcast has been long time in the making. We've been discussing this, cooking this, and we wanted to find a conduit where we could speak directly to our society, to the people that of alike minds, and share who and what we are as individuals in this world. Outside of being musicians and artists, we are also, as we mentioned, fathers and husbands and community organizers. And we wanted to try to share a little deeper lens into who we are and what we engage in on a day-to-day basis.
The gods are always also building all the time. And I think a lot of times we sit down in the basement and we build with one another, or we build with, friends and family, and we just have really great sessions. And I think every time we come out of those sessions, we be like, damn, we should have recorded that, or that would have been one for the book. So here we are documenting some of those conversations, some of those profound and insightful thoughts that we have. And it's going to be broad. It's not just going to be a one-trick pony where we're talking about our culture or we're talking about different political things that may be going on in the country and around the world. But really, we want to just speak on what's on our heart, what's on our minds, and how it feels as men of color, as fathers, and as leaders in the community and in the world today.
That's a fact. So this inaugural episode, if you will, is designed to give you a little bit of background into who we are, how we started, and what brought us here.
But before that happens, make sure you hit up our YouTube, Gods of the Basement, GODSOFTHE, Basement. Hit that subscribe button. Like our music videos, like any of the content that you see up there. We have really been building a portfolio of incredible artwork for you. Hit us on Instagram, Gods of the Basement. Any other social media platform that you're using, find us out there. Hit that follow. We're on all music platforms. Our music and our new album, Gods of the Basement self-titled LP, is streaming. So tap in, join the family, and the website, godsofthebasement.com, is the best place for you to connect with us, join the society, and get tapped into God's Vision, which is an exclusive content-based membership that'll get you access into the God Society.
That's a fact. We're going to talk about our upbringings and how we were born and raised and those things. That stuff is going to unpack throughout many episodes. But I think it's really important that we start this episode by taking a trip back to the year 2000.
Back in time.
Myself and my partner Nunzio, we are a group called Solid Ground. Shout out to Nunzio. And we were recording music, making music, and working in the Lower East Side in the underground hip-hop scene of New York. Along our adventures, we came across another group that was called Eye to Eye. This group consisted of Pro One, Vice Versus, and a brother called Ego Trip. Shout out to Trip. You know, to be all honest, you know, when we talk about this, we reflect on it. We initially saw them as competition, right? When they got on stage, we would be extra keyed in, like, they really doing X. They really have a hardcore kind of boom bap sound. Our brother Vice Versus, whose name you're going to hear probably 1,000 times throughout these podcasts, he has left us in the physical form, but he's here with us in spirit.
Forever Vice.
He and Pro were just monstrous on stage, you know? And my brother Nunzio and I, we would watch them, and we were kind of in competition with them. You know, we would want to always rock after them. Or if we got called on stage before them, we would try to really kill it. And it was interesting building that kind of, you know, friendly competition in that realm. We performed at a spot called Spiral. Spiral is famous in the Lower East Side and was really the breeding ground for many MCs.
Yeah, we used to do a spot down there, or an event that Demo the Pro used to host. I think Shadow Man Black was also one of the hosts there. There was a slew of different events that was going on in the underground in the late 90s and 2000s. And Vice and myself and Trip, we were like the three remaining members of Eye to Eye at that time. We were a collective. And at one point, I think we had as many as like 10 or 11 different MCs. So when we got on stage, it was like a movie. We looked like a Benetton commercial of wild rap animals. You feel me? And you know, to Zoo's point, we used to not only frequent places to go rap together, but we used to go hit the same bar up together.
That's a fact.
And there was this spot called Bob's. And that was downtown in the LES. Shout all my old school Bob heads. And there was a DJ by the name of DJ Joey Ty. Woo. And Joey Ty, rest in peace to Joey Ty, you know what I mean, is kind of the archangel of the entire EODUB family, because what he did is got tired of Solid Ground and Eye to Eye rapping over every record that he played. So if a beat came on, we in the middle of the circle of the dance floor like it's a cypher rapping over the vocals, you see? So Joey was like, yo, these guys, they need their own venue, they need their own spot. And somehow he finessed it to get us into Baby Jupiter, which was a local spot on Orchard Street.
Yes.
Before Orchard Street had like sky towers and penthouses and all that craziness. And then Joey got sick.
He got sick and passed away. You know, I want to say another interesting fun fact about Joey Ty is Joey Ty was the DJ at my wedding. I got married in the year 2000, and Joey Ty DJ'd my wedding. And my wife and I went on our honeymoon. And at the time, as Solid Ground, we were also once a large collective, so I don't want to forget my rest of my gang who out there, Solid Ground crew. But my wife and I were actually on our honeymoon. We were in Cancun, and I remember sitting on the beach, and at the time, I had always gotten a greater response from my live performances than my recorded material, right? We would hand people CDs, we would hand people cassettes. Remember those? They did exist. They did. And they had a lot of our demos on it, and people would give us a tepid response with the music, but whenever we performed the music, we would get an overwhelming response. So on the beach, I remember clearly telling my wife, like, when we go back home, anybody who offers me any show, any opportunity to perform, I'm going to go perform. And sure enough, when we came home on the answering machine, also antiquated device.
Ooh, showing our age on that one.
Answering machine, fax machines, beepers.
Hey, yo, beepers.
But hold on. On that answering machine was a message from Joey Ty, and he said that he wanted Solid Ground to connect with Eye to Eye and host this event. And as Pro mentioned earlier, unfortunately, the interesting legacy piece of this is Joey Ty was diagnosed with cancer, and it attacked his body in a really rapid way. Yeah, and as a result, he passed away soon after he made that call and was never able to see us perform live together.
And it's amazing the way energy transfers, right? Ooh. And there was a transference, and this has happened multiple times in our careers, you know, working together, but Joey Ty had, passed, and we kind of scrambled to try to find somebody to come in and DJ for us. And through our family and our network, there was a crew called 815 at Ithaca College that my guy Steads Bro, Naro was down with.
Wow.
And their
Shout
MC,
out Stead. Shout out Naro.
Yo, and so Naro ends up designing the first End of the Week logo and numerous album covers for us. But he was bros with the world famous DJ Scram Jones.
Scram Jones.
And they was in a group together. So Scram Jones ends up filling in for DJ Joey Ty and becoming the regular DJ of the original End of the Week series at Baby Jupiter and even into Pyramid.
That's a
and
fact.
What we didn't know at the time, I mean, we all knew he was a remarkable talent, but you never know what somebody's trajectory is going to be and where they'll end up. You know?
This is the same Scram Jones who became super producer. He's also an incredible MC.
He's a dope MC.
People don't know the levels of Scram Jones, and his DJ skills are unparalleled.
And I can remember nights where, you know, the three of us with Vice would be rocking, and he'd be like, yo, what's my name? Skip? Yo, just call me Skip.
I need to spit too, and his bars were tremendous.
Always immaculate. Yo, if you go out right now and you go online to the Apple Music Store and you look up End of the Week, you can find some of our old albums out there. There's an album called Special Forces Volume 1. And I think it lives somewhere in your Google.
Yeah.
End of the Week, WEAK, Special Forces Volume 1. And there's evidence that Scram Jones is one of the top rappers, bar none, of the era. So
and his production skills elevated later on, but
so we are rapping now, and we got an open mic.
We got an open mic, and this is before we even had a title for it.
Yeah.
And this is interesting because unpacking this, we're gonna talk about how many times Vice comes up. But the event took place on a Sunday night, which many people argue is the beginning of the week, but we took the moniker End of the Week. Yeah. And we took the week, and instead of WEEK, we made it WEAK. And it was End of the Week Minds, End of the Week Spirits, End of the Week Lyrics. Yeah. Our goal was sort of like this living natural selection in hip hop. Like we wanted people to get better. We were never shy about giving people feedback as to things they needed to do to get better. And our goal was to end the week.
Yo, bro, that was like a clinic though, because like that's on point. We definitely created an environment and fostered a energy that allowed everybody to rock. It didn't matter if your MC style was backpack, roots, you know what I mean, or reggae or whatever, culture
crack
vibe.
selling, drug
if you was
dealing,
a crack shoot 'em up rapper, like everybody rocked. And what I was just gonna, kind of say on top of that is the timing for End of the Week. It came kind of after Danny and Ant had just kind of slowed down with Lyricist Lounge.
Yeah,
it came at a time where New Yorican wasn't every day, so there was this kind of lull in the week where people still wanted to spit. And it was at a time where I felt like creatively, New York City is kind of where it is now. Yeah, it was a renaissance of the late 90s, 2000s where, you couldn't walk fucking 5 feet without
seeing a cipher.
Yo, who wanna rhyme?
It was that prevalent. I mean, I used to joke, like, go to any building, any neighborhood, any projects, you throw a rock, you're going to hit 2 MCs and a producer or the DJ, right? It's like, that's how prevalent it was. And we were blessed to create this environment that Pro is really describing. And it's hard to put into words, but I want you to try to imagine a place where, like, M.O.P., Drake, Diggable Planets, and Nas could, like, all perform in the same venue,
and mutually appreciate each other's work. And I think that's what was special about that era, And even with the dub in general, and even the way we move now, is that even on album, right? There's no limitation on a style or a genre of the culture or the music. Like, it's about the art. And ultimately, EODUB was there to foster the art.
That's right.
And we were lucky to be there.
EODUB was formally born. So I think we'd be remiss also if we didn't shout out a brother by the name of James Calhoun.
James Bong.
Who is also going to get a universal tisk right now because he missed the very first night of
fact.
EODUB.
But now you rubbing it in because he feels that shit. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just
rubbing salt on the wound, bro.
But James, who you'll hear us refer to as both James and Bong, is his other
Super
moniker.
Manager James Bong.
What I think we're, again, so blessed in the timing is where James James is not a performer per se. He is an incredible business mind. He's calculated.
Word.
He's incredibly thoughtful. He was already promoting parties around the city, and
Yo,
he
but
was
you got
actually.
more, he's a graphic designer.
Yeah, I
so
don't want
he's
to.
like
I don't want to
artist.
short.
Like
the guy.
he's like a manager. He's like a business manager. Like he was like a mentor and a guide for so many different artists.
He's a strong Jameson drinker.
He's a strong Jameson drinker. He might punch you in the mouth
That's
at
a
1 in the
fact.
morning if you don't pay up. And he was in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So like he had like
he
the
came
home
up
base
really.
for us.
His crib became the center
That was
of
de
EODUB.
facto
It's our
office.
mailing address. It's our office. It's where we would get checks sent.
And shout Lou, you know, James's pop, shout Mr. Calhoun,
word.
because he put up with a lot of like
Shout Lou.
a lot of us.
Lou make a mean barbecue too.
Yo,
by the
the
way.
barbecues like
Hard
legendary.
body.
All our society members know.
They
man.
know
Like,
it.
family shit, bro.
So I share that piece, you know, as a moment in our history, but I also want to just make a note to everyone out there that no one ever really builds or gets to the top alone, right? You might see a rapper, you might see an actor, an athlete, and you think like, oh, they worked so hard to get there. And the answer is yes. And they also had a team around them.
Definitely.
And I will readily admit that we would not be EODUB today, even as talented as we were and are. We wouldn't have become this international entity had it not been for the mindset of James promoting, booking shows, collecting money, getting us deals, sponsorships. So to every aspiring artist out there, you know, if you're at home and you're working on music or you're a painting or a graphic artist or what have you, if you're a dancer, really try to surround yourself with people who are like-minded, who want to succeed as much as you do. And who believe.
Yeah.
And also what's tough is finding that person who's not excited about missing out and being in front of the camera, right? Like, James doesn't really care really about being on screen, and we have to sometimes drag him into photos.
And shit. Yeah.
But that person in your life is pivotal. Yeah. So we started that event at a spot called Baby Jupiter, and it started to
Joey
grow.
Ty blessed us. He brought us together. You know, the team formed and gelled in that venue. Eventually, they sold the spot, Baby Jupiter, specifically on Orchard Street, and so we moved on to the Pyramid. Now, one thing that we kind of spoke to but haven't really drove home is that this is a weekly open mic, right? So this is every Sunday night. And we went on to do this for 16, 17 years as the longest running weekly open mic in New York City.
Let's do it. Just do a stop and pause. Let's just analyze that.
Soak it in, folks.
The longest running weekly open mic. And you know, there were other mics, open mics around, and he mentioned New Eurekan and Lyricist Lounge and a dozen others. But what made us unique was that we were weekly.
Right.
And we were incredibly dedicated to this. I mean,
so you talk about
every Sunday was The Sopranos. It was The Wire. It was...
I mean, we could even go further back. Like when we started in 2000, none of that even existed as a programming type.
That's a fact.
So if you miss your shit on a Sunday, you missed your shit. There wasn't on demand. You couldn't record the live. That didn't exist. So to piggyback onto the team, it's not only the team that you have and them gelling, but it's their level of dedication to a cause that's bigger than themselves.
Wow.
And so we get far and we can make it to places alone, but we get further as the team.
Yeah,
right?
They say if you want to go fast, go alone.
Correct.
But if you want to go far, you need to go together.
And then there's also this piece of like carrying on the legacy of your predecessors and your ancestors. And so what you see is EODUB becomes the legacy of DJ Joey Ty, and he set the first stone for us, and then we built everything on top of that.
That's
right?
a fact.
And that drove a lot of the dedication to every Sunday night, and we got to do this, is because it wasn't really about us, even though we were talented. It was that, our guy had a vision for us. He put the wheels in motion, and now we owe him the responsibility.
That's a fact. And Vice would always talk to us about, we started this really as an opportunity for us to spit and to hone our talents, but Vice would always push us on how many people were coming and how we were supporting other people. Right. Like this became a platform for
Everybody.
Hundreds of MCs to come through over the years that we existed. And physically, we went from Baby Jupiter to Avenue A to a spot called the Pyramid. And at the Pyramid, we rocked every Sunday until probably 15 years, maybe.
Yeah.
We did it weekly. I mean, 9/11, anything
Super
that happened
Bowl,
on the earth,
yeah.
we were there on every
Mother's
Sunday
Day,
night.
Father's Day.
And part of my spirit wants to open up the floodgates to talk about how many MCs came through EODUB. Can we do that for a moment?
Yeah, but we would be remiss to not talk about the MC Challenge and James Calhoun and Vice Versus in a game of chess that they played in that apartment in Brooklyn, and them trying to be progressively thoughtful about furthering the culture and getting beyond the crab in a barrel mentality, which was one of our mantras early on, where we have these battles. And battles, we love them. My peoples is the best battlers in the world. You feel me? But we really wanted to do something new and unique. And so the MC Challenge came out of this need to evolve. And James and Jason came up with the 5-round competition that eventually became our passport
to the world. So that's a great term for it, because the MC Challenge was not designed as the anti-battle, but it was designed as a way to really hone your talents in a different way. So the 5 chapters or the 5 rounds of the MC Challenge, the first round is the written round, where you can come with your written bars, you can rock over a beat, or you can do a part of your own original composition. The second round is the acapella round. The acapella round is with no beat. How can you captivate the crowd? How can your lyrics and your presence on stage draw people in and engage them? Round 3 was the freestyle grab bag, or oftentimes the most pivotal round.
That's the make it or break it. So we should pause on that, because freestyle to us is a sacred art form, right? And I think that this should go far, and this should resonate with a lot of people that culturally acknowledge what freestyle really meant to us in our era. Was like, you're coming off the top, you're actually coming with new improv content and making it contextual in the room that you're in for the audience that you're engaging, and you're not using a device or a premeditated, rhyme that you have. You're actually doing freestyle improvisation
in the moment.
And so End of the Week and EODUB has been founded on those cultural pillars. So when we do freestyle, we need to know that that's a freestyle, and that's not 11 bars you had in the pocket plus another 4 you just mixed up while you were standing here and made it into a freestyle. So
it's literally off the head rhyming. And this, in many ways, it's a lost art now.
It really
but
is.
Frankly, this round 3 was the freestyle grab bag, where competitors had to pull items out of a bag and rhyme about them live. Incredible.
That shit gave us
art.
Some of the best moments in hip hop. In my opinion, not just EODUB history, but hip hop history, right? It's pushing an artist to the top of their capability and then putting them in an obstacle-based challenge where they really gotta almost
stretch. They have to push themselves.
On stage.
So after the grab bag round, which was round 3, we have round 4, which is we used to call it the beat juggling round. In many countries around the globe now, they call it the MC versus the DJ, where the DJ is actually spinning different beats at different tempos, different instrumentals. And an MC, if you're really nice with it, you should be able to rhyme over any beat. So this, again, stretches an MC, pushes an MC. Many of us were raised on some boom bap stuff, but what if we throw a reggae beat on? What if we throw a trap beat on? Right now, what if we throw a drill beat on? How will you respond? Powerful round, and I'm going to get head out there and say that Scram Jones was the best at this.
Scram Jones.
I might put Vinyl Richie at number 2, and I'm going to give Calabras an honorable mention as well. But Scram Jones was incredible at this round. The last round number 5, was called Cypher Skills, and this is where you actually have the opportunity to trade 4 bars with other MCs. So that round is pivotal, because it forces you to kind of connect with other rappers. Number 2, we put it last because what it does is any animosity that you once had throughout the challenge, now it has to be quelled because you have to rhyme with this person in the last round, and dissing each other is not allowed.
Correct.
So you would see people in this round, even if they've been fierce competitors throughout the entire competition, now they become family. They become gang. Now that's my man, because if we want to do well, we have to complement
Correct.
each other in this round. So the MC Challenge, just really quickly about the trajectory of the MC Challenge, it became our calling card, right? It became a competition that we were able to work all around New York, all around the United States. But then we took that competition overseas. We started in Europe. And frankly, it worked in so many ways because A, the competition was unique. It greatly challenged even the best MCs. But lastly, it wasn't just a group from America coming to perform in your town.
Right.
It was a group from America coming to facilitate a competition where your MCs got to shine.
And the opportunity that it created was immeasurable. So you look at it from the perspective of somebody who's in their local city in another country rapping, and they could walk on stage, they could win a spot in a rhyme off, they could then get into an MC competition, and if they were to excel and win, they could then go into the championships for that country respectively, compete against other city winners, win that grand championship, and then travel internationally to the global challenge of champions that we would have once every year. So like, I think, you know, all that being said, the spirit of everything that we've done and continue to do is in the spirit of giving and growing the community and providing opportunities to not only ourselves but to other artists,
MCs, other artists. You know what? We're gonna put a pin in that because what I'm smelling is in the future we need to have a whole episode dedicated to the MC Challenge.
Yeah,
we need to talk about the history of it. We need to talk about the luminaries who came up through the challenge. Maybe we'll even share some special clips with you.
I think we should definitely go in the bag
from challenge
and show you guys some of the highlights. I mean,
Powerful.
just to name a couple of names, like who came through that?
Iron Solomon, Immortal Technique, Nems, Dayton, Jess James, Baxter Words, Poison Pen, Breeze Everflowing, Swave Sep. Yeah,
I mean, the list is
that's why I was about to open up that can of worms, but we need a whole episode on that.
So, once again, we just want to ask you guys, please hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Subscribe to Gods of the Basement on your YouTube. Hit us on our website, godsofthebasement.com. That's where you can connect to God's Vision. You can download this content and have it available to you. Our album is available on all streaming platforms, and we are Gods of the Basement on Instagram. This is Sunzoo7 on Instagram.
SUNZOO7 on
and I'm
Instagram.
Prolific1, and that's Prolific, PROLIFICWONE, because I'm the one and I won, and you know what it is.
You know what it is. Now, we take you back to the pyramid. Now we're in